All right, today we're going to pull back the curtain on a company you've probably never really thought about, but whose products you almost definitely use every single day. Their name might not ring a bell, but trust me, their influence is just massive.
So let me just ask you straight up. Procter & Gamble. Does that name mean anything to you? For most people, it's a blank. Maybe you've seen it in tiny print somewhere. And that is so strange because this company is quite literally everywhere.
Just how big are we talking? Well, their annual revenue is over $66 billion. That's billion with a B. To put that in perspective, that makes them one of the 50 largest companies in the entire United States. They are an absolute monster of a corporation. Which brings us to the big mystery we're going to solve today. If they're that huge, that successful, why don't we know their name? How can they be so invisible in our daily lives? Well, the answer is a brilliant, game-changing strategy. Here it is. The secret sauce is something called brand management, and P&G basically invented it. The idea is, instead of slapping Procter & Gamble on everything, they create and market dozens and dozens of individual brands, each with its own personality. It is their ultimate secret weapon, and it's why you know their products, but not the company pulling all the strings. To really get how they got so good at this, we have to go way, way back to the beginning. Because their story doesn't start with marketing, it starts with science, in a lab. Okay, so it all kicked off in 1837. A candle maker, William Procter, and a soap maker, James Gamble, decided to team up. Their first huge hit was Ivory Soap in 1878, a really good, cheap soap that famously floated in the tub. Then came Crisco in 1911, the world's first all-vegetable shortening. And then, in 1946, just as automatic washing machines were becoming a thing, they invented Tide. The key takeaway here? Their biggest, most foundational brands weren't just bought, they were scientifically created. Now, you might want to brace yourself. We're about to jump into the era where P&G just began to completely take over the supermarket. This is where you're going to start to see the mind-boggling scale of their brand collection. The 1950s, that post-war boom, for P&G, it was like a gold rush. They either created or bought an incredible number of brands that I guarantee you will recognize. So let's just run through the 50s. In the cleaning aisle, they launched Joy, Cheer, and Zest. They created Crest toothpaste, they bought Charmin and Bounty, and of course they gave us Mr. Clean. I mean, think about that for a second. Every single one of those is still a household name, and they're all P&G. But they didn't just stop with cleaning supplies. Nope, they marched right into the pantry, buying the company that would later create the iconic Jif peanut butter. They also grabbed the Duncan Hines brand, basically owning the cake mix aisle for decades to come. Okay, let's roll into the 1960s and see how this thing just keeps building. You think they're big yet? Oh, they were just getting warmed up. They started pushing into totally new areas, creating products for problems people didn't even know they had. So in 1960, they started Puffs tissues. The very next year, 1961, was massive. They launched Head & Shoulders shampoo, and, this is a big one, they pretty much invented the modern disposable diaper with Pampers. Then, for good measure, they added Scope mouthwash in 66. You see what's happening? They weren't just buying companies anymore, they were inventing entire product categories out of thin air. And the pace just got faster in the 70s and 80s. P&G expanded from stuff around the house into over-the-counter health and wellness, becoming a beast in the pharmacy aisle, just like they were in the grocery store. And the range of brands from this time is just wild. They launched Dawn dish soap and Love's diapers. They invented Pringles. Yes, those Pringles. Then they made a huge push into healthcare, buying Pepto-Bismol and Vicks, which, of course, gave them NyQuil. They created Always, they bought Pantene, and in 1990, they snapped up the classic men's brand Old Spice. Now, as we get into the 21st century, P&G's strategy kind of shifted. They were already huge, obviously, but they wanted to become untouchable. And they did this by making a few absolutely gigantic, multi-billion-dollar purchases. Their first big move of the new millennium came in 2001. They set their sights on the hair care industry and decided to take out a huge competitor, Clairol. And they paid just under $5 billion for it. Now, this wasn't just buying one brand, this was buying an entire family of brands. It instantly made them a leader in hair color and styling, with names you know like Herbal Essences and Aussie. But believe it or not, that was just the warm-up act. 4 years later, in 2005, they made a move that just completely shocked the business world. They announced a deal that would become the biggest acquisition in their entire history. $57 billion. That's what they paid to buy the Gillette company. I mean, the number is just hard to even wrap your head around, and it shows you their ambition. They wanted to dominate every single corner of your bathroom.
And look at what they got for all that cash. It wasn't just Gillette razors. The deal came with Braun electric shavers, Oral-B toothbrushes and toothpaste, and for a while, they even owned Duracell batteries. It was a massive power play to lock down their empire. Okay, so we've walked through the history, the strategy, the big money buys. Let's put it all together now and really see the invisible empire that Procter & Gamble built right under our noses. So here you have it, and this is just a partial list of the P&G universe. You've got Ivory, Tide, Crest, Pampers, Gillette, Old Spice, Febreze, Swiffer. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. It's a whole galaxy of products, all controlled by one company that most of us barely even know exists. And that brings us right back to the beginning. When you see that $66 billion number, it's not just some abstract corporate thing. It's personal. Because my guess is you, without even realizing it, you helped them get to that number. So I'll just leave you with this one last thought. The next time you open your bathroom cabinet, or you look under the kitchen sink, or you're just walking through the grocery store, take a closer look. How many of these brands do you actually have in your home right now? You might be pretty surprised to find out just how much of your house is a Procter & Gamble house.